Hello and Merry Christmas! We all know that Christmas Day is all about opening presents, spending time with families and people we care about, and enjoying lots of food. But while we are in the holiday spirit, do you know any historical events that happened on Christmas Day? While you're thinking about it, we have 10 notable ones to share, and probably yours might be on our list. So let's look back at the top 10 historical events that happened on Christmas Day. At number 10, the death of Charlie Chaplin, December 25th, 1977. Sir Charles Spencer Chaplin, one of the most well-known comedic on-screen characters to have ever lived, died December 25th, 1977. The adored movie icon died in his sleep at the age of 88. Charlie was a pioneering actor and a mastermind behind his movies and silent film. He was well known for classic cinema jewels like Kid Auto Races at Venice, 1914, The Tramp, 1915, The Great Dictator, 1940, and numerous others. Number 9. Charlemagne crowned Holy Roman Emperor, Christmas Day in the 800s. Often called the Father of Europe, Charlemagne was a Frankish warrior king who united many of the continents under the banner of the Carolingian Empire. In the late 700s, Charlemagne formed a large kingdom through comprehensive military campaigns against the Saxons, the Lombards, and the Avars. A devout Catholic, he also aggressively converted his subjects to Christianity and instituted strict religious reform. On Christmas Day 800, Pope Leo III crowned Charlemagne Emperor of the Romans during a St. Peter's Basilica ceremony. This controversial coronation restored the Western Roman Empire in name and established Charlemagne as the divinely appointed leader of most of Europe. But more importantly, it elevated him on the same footing with Empress Irene of the Byzantine Empire, who ruled the Eastern Empire from Constantinople. Charlemagne served as an emperor for 13 years. His legal and educational reforms sparked a cultural revival and unified much of Europe for the first time since the fall of the Roman Empire. Number 8. President Andrew Jackson issues a final pardon to Confederate soldiers, December 25, 1868. Almost at the end of his term as president, Andrew Johnson gave a handful of former Confederate rebels a famous Christmas present. By way of Proclamation 179, on December 25, 1868, Johnson issued an amnesty to everyone who fought against the United States during the Civil War. Johnson's massive pardon was the fourth in a series of post-war amnesty orders dating back to 1865. Earlier agreements had restored legal and political rights to Confederate soldiers in exchange for signed oaths of allegiance to the United States. Still, these pardons exempted 14 classes of people, including certain officers, government officials, and those with property valued over $20,000. This was the final act of unconditional forgiveness for Southerners, including many former Confederate generals. Number 7. William the Conqueror is crowned King of England. Christmas Day, 1066. The 1066 holiday season played host to an event that permanently changed the course of European history. On Christmas Day, William, Duke of Normandy, also known as William the Conqueror, was crowned King of England at Westminster Abbey in London. This coronation came in the wake of William's legendary invasion of the British Isles, which had ended in October 1066 with a victory over King Harold II at the Battle of Hastings. William the Conqueror's 21-year rule would see many Norman customs and laws find their way into English life. For example, after solidifying his power by building famous structures such as the Tower of London and Windsor Castle, William also gave extensive land grants to his French-speaking allies. This permanently changed English language development and contributed to the rise of the feudal system of government that characterized much of the Middle Ages. Number 6. Mikhail Gorbachev resigns as Soviet president, December 25, 1991. Long before Al-Qaeda was ever on the bad guy radar, the Soviet Union, now broken up into Russia and other republics, was considered America's most formidable enemy. That all changed back in the late 1980s with the open policy of glasnost. Glasnost led to more freedom and the eventual disintegration of the Soviet Union. With the resignation of Mikhail Gorbachev, president of the USSR and the chief architect of glasnost, the trend became irreversible. Mikhail quits his post on December 25, 1991. However, his political legacy changed the balance of world power forever. Number 5. Hirohito became Emperor of Japan, December 25, 1926. Hirohito was the son of the Taisho Emperor and grandson of the Meiji Emperor. He was educated at the Peer School and the Crown Prince's Institute. Early in life, he developed an interest in marine biology, on which he later wrote several books. In 1921, he visited Europe, becoming the first Japanese crown prince to travel abroad. After returning, he was named Prince Regent when his father retired because of mental illness. In 1924, Hirohito married the Princess Nagako Kuni. Hirohito became the Emperor of Japan on December 25, 1926, following his father's death. Number 4. Saint Francis of Assisi sets up the first nativity scene. Saint Francis originally conceived the nativity scene, now recreated in town squares and churches worldwide. According to Bonaventure, Francis, in 1223, sought permission from Pope Honorius III to do something for the kindling of devotion to the birth of Christ. As part of his preparations, Francis made ready a manger and baked hay together with an ox and an ass in the similar Italian town of Greccio. Among the crowd gathered for this event, one witness reported that Francis included a carved doll that cried tears of joy and seemed to be awakened from sleep when the Blessed Father Francis embraced him in both arms. This miracle of the crying doll moved all who were present, Bonaventure writes. Number 3. Christmas Truce, 1914. The Christmas truce occurred on and around Christmas Day 1914, when the sounds of rifles firing and shells exploding faded in several places along the Western Front during World War I in favor of holiday celebrations. During the unofficial ceasefire, soldiers on both sides emerged from the trenches and shared goodwill gestures. The men exchanged presents of cigarettes and plum puddings and sang carols and songs. Some Germans lit Christmas trees around their tracks, and there was even a documented case of soldiers from opposing sides playing a good-natured soccer game. Number 2. George Washington and the Continental Army crossed the Delaware River, December 25, 1776. The Revolutionary War looked like it might be lost for colonial forces. A series of defeats had depleted morale, and many soldiers had deserted the Continental Army. Desperate to strike a decisive victory, General George Washington led 2,400 troops on a daring nighttime crossing of the icy Delaware River on Christmas Day. Stealing into New Jersey on December 26, the Continental forces launched a surprise attack on Trenton, which was held by a force of German soldiers known as the Hessians. Many Hessians were still disoriented from the previous night's holiday bender, and colonial forces defeated them with minimal bloodshed. However, while Washington had pulled off a shock victory, his army was unequipped to hold the city, and he was forced to recross Delaware that same day, this time with nearly 1,000 Hessian prisoners in tow. Washington would score successive victories at the battles of Assunpink Creek and Princeton, and his audacious crossing of frozen Delaware served as a crucial rallying cry for the beleaguered Continental Army. 1. The first celebrated Christmas, 336 AD. The oldest existing record of a Christmas celebration is discovered in a Roman calendar that tells of Christ's Nativity festival, held by the Church of Rome in 336 AD. The Romans marked the birth of Jesus Christ on this day in what is thought to be the first Christmas celebration after Emperor Constantine I had declared Christianity the empire's preferred religion. From Rome, the Christ's Nativity celebration spread to other Christian churches to the west and east, and soon most Christians were celebrating Christ's birth on December 25th. And that's all we have for you today. Did your event make it on our list? Are there historical events that occurred on Christmas Day we didn't mention? Please leave your comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. See you next year. Peace.